Well, hello. Alejandro Tornato here, coming directly from Beaufort, Georgia. And I'm so glad to be once again with all of you. It is great to do this evening teachings, just to spend a few moments together. And today, I want to talk to you about competence. Competence. You see, we all admire people who display high competence in what they do, whether they are a precision craftsman, whether they are a world class athlete, or even a successful business leader. To be around people who display on a daily basis a high level of competence. You see, when we talk about the topic of competence, our minds start to think of all the people that we know who exhibit this trait, the trait of being competent in whatever task they are performing. You see, to be honest, the list of people I know who are competent is not that long. Why? Because achieving competence is not that easy to do. It requires the following 5 things I would like to share with you and discuss with you. The first one is show up every day. Show up every day. Now, when we compare responsible people with competent ones, responsible individuals show up when they are expected. But highly competent people take that to the next level. They take it a step farther. They come ready to play every day, no matter how they feel or what kind of circumstances they face or how difficult they expect the game to be. You see, responsible people, they show up, but competent people are ready every single day to play the game, to really get into the field and play the game. Now, the second element of competency is keep improving. All highly competent people continually search for ways to keep learning, to keep growing, and to keep improving. They do that by asking why. It so happens that the person who knows how will always have a job, but the person who knows why will always be the boss. Now, isn't that interesting? Let me say that again, because this is really interesting. The person who knows the how will always have a job. That's good security. But the person who knows the why will always be the boss, will always have that potential for leadership. Now, element number 3 for competency is follow through with excellence. Follow through with excellence. You know, it is extremely difficult to find perhaps non-existent, not just difficult, but non-existent competent people who don't follow through on things. You see, because competent people, highly competent people, are people who follow through on things, on projects, on everything that they begin doing. They follow through no matter how difficult it may be, no matter how many obstacles they find in the way. You see, as leaders, we expect the people in our teams to follow through when we give them a certain task, a certain project. That's what happens as leaders. Now, number 4 element of competency is accomplish more than expected. Accomplish more than expected. Highly competent people always go the extra mile. You want them to go 1 mile? Well, they go a second mile because they do more than what other people expect of them to do. They look at things, at projects, from a totally different perspective than good enough. You know, sometimes you meet people and you give them a task and they do the task, but they do it and it's good enough for them. But it is never good enough for highly competent people. Why? Because they constantly strive for excellence. And they don't stop until they achieve excellence. You see, some people, I talk to a lot of people, and in conversations, you know, some people, they like the phrase, well, I am good enough. You see, that I am good enough, for me in particular, it never, ever resonated. Because that word enough, you see, I always thought that I am more than just good enough. And if you think of yourself, I hope that you consider yourself so much more than just good enough. And I just want to say hi to Tain Marie. Yes, hello, how are you doing? It's so great to see you, that you are joining the talk and you're watching. But this is what happens with that statement of good enough. You see, highly competent people do not resonate with that good enough mentality because they consider that they are more than good enough and that they can achieve more than good enough. You know, sometimes I equate good enough with mediocrity. Mediocrity is just good enough. It's just good enough to get by. But highly competent people, they are not mediocre people. They strive for excellence. And excellence is definitely not mediocrity. I think that I would like to do a topic, a teaching on the meaning of mediocrity, what really mediocrity is all about, because I think that there may be a little bit of confusion as to what it is. It definitely is not excellence. And so let's get to the 5th element of achieving achieving competence, and that is inspiring others, inspiring other people. You see, competent leaders do more than just perform at a high level. They inspire and motivate their people to do exactly the same. So they perform at high level, but they inspire people in their teams, in their organizations, in their business, to perform at that high level. They inspired, they motivate, they're great motivators. Now, while some people rely on relational skills alone to survive, effective leaders combined those relational skills with high competence to take their organizations and their businesses to new levels of excellence and influence. You see, they are highly competent people. Not only they look at their own competency, but they motivate other people to achieve that same high level of competency. And they do whatever it is that they can do, and they change the things that they need to change in order to allow other people to reach a high competency level. So, as I wrap this teaching on competence, let me ask you, are you inspiring the people in your team or the people in your circle of influence to achieve a high level of competence? If you're not, then the first question is, why not? Why are you not doing that? Because as you elevate the competence level of the team, you see, that team is going to be transformed and performing at a much higher level of effectiveness. And that would result in perhaps a better bottom line for a business, for an organization. It could result in better dynamics within teams. So it will have tremendous benefits. So inspire your people in your team to achieve a high level of competency. And so thank you so very much, for being with me, for joining me for this teaching on the topic of competence. If you want more information, if you want to contact me directly, if you want to ask me a question, you can certainly DM me, direct message me on Facebook. You can contact me on my website at alejandrojtornato.com. On Facebook, you can reach me or see my work on No Limits Living. That's my Facebook page. Conversations with Influencers, that's my group. And you can also reach me on LinkedIn. And so there's a variety of different ways that we can connect. And I would be very grateful if you want to work with me and you want me to help you to really grow in your leadership skills and to help you along your personal growth and development journey. I love to work with solopreneurs, with emerging leaders, to try to get them really well established into a new role of leadership in your career, in your profession. So, as I always remind you before I close any of my broadcasts, to live every moment to the fullest. Be resilient, and also be kind, be passionate, be intentional. And remember that we were not created with any kinds of limitations. So please, I encourage you to live your life to the fullest of your potential and capability, and make every single day a wonderful and a limitless experience. Until the next time that we meet, all the very best and be well.